All right, everyone, we're about to get underway. I'm delighted to see everyone here this evening. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to read with an old friend, Francisco Orrego, who is an interesting writer and a brilliant visual artist as well. And he's, always been the life of the party for the many decades that I've known him. You know, pura fiesta, as they say. But so tonight he's going to start off. This is our normal first Thursday of the month poetry series. So he's going to start off, and then I'll read second. And I'm, among other things, celebrating a new chapbook, which is part of the Beckett Cultural Legacy Project, a series of chapbooks that Eric's son, Nicholas, does. And they're all fabulous, all of them. So I'm quite honored to be a part of that lineage. And and then I'll read, and there will be a short break and then an open mic. So any poets who would like to read, just talk to Jerry, or he has a list, sign up, and we'll be glad to enjoy that part of the evening. There's some food and drink. Don't be shy about eating and imbibing or what have you. So, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce or welcome Francisco Orrego. So that's the mic.
That's the one? Okay. Let me see. Ah, the life of the party, yeah. Well, then you grow up thinking that you wasted youth, when if anything, youth wasted you. But now it's a good time to be sober because before I could escape reality. Now it's coming up, you can't escape. So we'll be talking about that later. But today I'm dedicating all these stories to the gods, whatever they are. Let's start with a wicked urban revelation. Let me see what it's called. Okay, the first time I believed in God. Okay, let me see. I got 10 cigarettes in my shirt pocket. That was me talking to myself, knowing that just a few years back, I considered anybody who talked to themselves was crazy. I mean, it's enough with the inside talking. Well, it had spilled over, and I had gotten to voicing stuff with nobody around. I'm used to it, but I don't feel crazy. Broke, drunk, and miserable? Now, yes. Crazy? Not in the cards yet. So I kept japping this inventory to myself, already buzzed from free sidekick booze and 3/16 of Budweiser, and I'm set. I'll sip them, and they will last me all night. It was 1:30 in the morning, still early. I was walking from the Mission through Stockton Tunnel towards Broadway to one of those single-room occupancy deals in one of those shared bathroom hotels in Chinatown. I was 40 years old and living in a isolated walk-in closet. I didn't have a job, and worse, no calling. I could feel my big toe tearing through my dirty, stiff yet moist sock. I hadn't washed my clothes in weeks. The shit was dragging, and at the moment, I was counting my blessings with 10 cigarettes and 3 buds. And that's when I said, "Oh God, I wish I had a line." Then I heard the honking of a car that had passed me. My first thought was, you gotta honk in an empty late night tunnel. Silly to think the honking was for me. Then I heard a loud screeching, turned my head and saw the car, now at the end of the tunnel, come to a complete stop, then screeching into reverse. The tunnel remained empty except for this reverse car rushing towards me. And I'm thinking, friend or foe? Weird stranger. I mean, who backs up seedy like that on in a tunnel? I was just about to be shot for fun, for initiation. The car stopped right alongside me. What a relief. It was Carlos. I wasn't surprised, not with this guy. I was tickled as a confused smile crawled across my face. Well, better than a minute ago. Hop in, loco. I did. What's up, brother? Where you going? I said. To the mission. I just came from the mission. No shit, then what? Then what? He said. Hey, brother, you wouldn't have a line? I asked. He replied, man, did you land in the right car or what? I agreed, relieved beyond soul. He parked the car on Gary Street, put out CD cover, spilled out the Coke, and divvied up 2 gigantic lines, and I snorted them as if I was snorting some life back into me. I split immediately because the cops were stopping a car ahead of us. I thanked him and probably gave him that drug addiction solidarity wink. I rushed back into the tunnel, and about 2/3 into it, I felt my tweaking in the same spot where God had granted me my wish. Okay, let's go with another godlike figure. It's called The Legend of Tambor Alley. There is a legend in Tambor Alley that in a night like this, preceded by the trumpets of a hardcore salson, the rumba appeared captivated by rhythm and made of manhood, throwing down steps like describing the piano with the tip of its feet when Richie Way was coming like a beast from the jukebox. The bewitched crowd opened up some room to give the cat his space. Then he started with his lightning to cook the floor that melted under his dance. As the music embraced him, as music's myth, the motive of inspiration and sweat, that sucking up his tobacco with the fury of a hurricane, he enchanted all the women and swept up all the rum. When he finished, with a powerful laugh, he raised his hands, and the legend says that converted into lightning, she disappeared. They still sing in Tambor Alley that in a night like this, descending with all his might, the powerful Chango came to dance with us tonight. Hotel Red. The broken windows are always open. The putrid gates always unlocked. The carpet, red of course, surrounds the front desk, always unattended, and on its counter a key with your name on it. A laughing bellboy with red ponytail greets you and takes the last piece of luggage, your soul. On the way up, you pass the first floor. There are bright lights and wrinkles on every face. Somehow it reminds you of Florida, full of lifelong dreams and retirement. On the second floor, it is sad and dark. You could sense the guilt and the anguish, and you know that floor is full of poets and pregnant women. On the third floor, you stop. There are no lights, no color, no air, only that distinct odor of flowers, of earth, and the faint whispers of visitors over your grave, plus the absence of God. Human gods. Nobody can remember the present until it becomes the past. That's where everybody lives, trying to figure out their presence. It's the past that we feel today. We exist for and by what exists no more. There are two things that make us human: the drama of our past and the dreams of our future, there's one thing that makes us God: our next breath. Okay, thank you very much.
I never thought of Francisco as a great religious poet before, but wow. Short and sweet. Jerry, may I ask you can you reach that down there? Speaking of God's intervention. Good heavens. Where were we? Well, somebody once said, nothing perfect is divine. That's a good one to keep in mind. So I'm going to read some selection of poems from the new chapbook, Ramshackle Detour. But first I'm going to read a poem because I've been, writing stuff. We're facing a terrible historical moment that I know everyone is aware of. Everything that we cherish, everything that makes life worth living is under a very acute assault. Everything we value is beleaguered right now. So anyway, this is touching upon that. It's called For the Aching. Our bodies ache for the aching, the flayed unmaking of the mask gone walkabout in our brain. Let's not kid ourselves. They're trying to murder us, but it's nothing new. Stars wax and wane, stumble and flame, little lanterns bedeviled by darkness. In the beginning was the Word, has swallowed its tongue like ground glass. Poetry after Auschwitz, song after Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin, dance after Gaza, Guantanamo, and Vietnam. Ask the mercury inside a glass thermometer. It's already the fire next time. This is called, But My Real Wealth is in Harriet Tubman $20 bills. And I'm still irate. I'm still waiting for the damn bill to come out. And the trek from callow youth who knew little to old man who knows less was arduous, but not without its sublime buffoonery and confusion. I mixed a few metaphors, participated in my era's epistemological crisis, and danced some polyrhythms to a dead heat. I often went too far or pulled up short. I cried wolf when I should have cried fire. I pigeonholed the parrots but let the ravens run free. I was a tongue-tied polyglot, a hapless grammarian skulking in back streets for the golden word. As for the moon, I inhaled its dark fragrance. As for the stars, I let them sweat. When the seedlings talked, I choose to ignore the weeds whispering intermittently. I'm going mad, but not mad enough. The grave gives birth to song after song, and brandy kicks off my backseat breakfast. It's Christmas Day 1977 all over again. My buy now, pay later Kingston cousin drives us to Montego Bay as if his dreads are on fire. A kamikaze Grand Prix racer running the leisurely Love Eyes off the road. He would be dead in months, going down in the Caribbean in a small plane stuffed with ganja, knowing only that the sun would be a red giant 200 times its present size in 30 billion years. It's interesting. I've had some interesting cousins over the years, actually. But so, and of course, if you do the research, we're all cousins, if not closer. Anyway, but they say time flies. When the moon is no longer visible, people say it is roasting a pig. Everything has tiger. An astronaut said, even a feather bed is hard after months of weightlessness. Texas real estate law states land starts at the center of the earth and continues on into space. We're stalled between Baroque invention and bare bones. We smell the small blue flowers around the missile range, see the sniper hiding in a sandpiper's nest. As for unseemly addictions like intelligibility, there are no winners or losers. Where is Ptolemy's earth-centered universe now, and the old sitcoms we watched from Father Time's caboose? Go to the sea to see the water sing. This is called Uninvited Guest. They accused me of lust. They accused me of looting. I was a hotspot of lies and alliteration. My own mother set Notre Dame on fire, and then I came to your party naked, wearing just an elegant shoe. This is called White Wall for the Lowriders. My car's a block long and lemon yellow. It reaches from coast to coast, is a cool, lascivious green flecked with gold. My car is sleek and fast, a synapse, icicle of ignition, brim of a hat. My car is a white wall of torque. Get your hands off my breathtaking chrome leopards, fiery cloud of manganese. The joke is my own style as a driver. Well, Bob is here today. I used to occasionally take his son home from school, and he would look at me. He would be like, "Why is this man driving so slow?" And then, and Kristen, my girlfriend, her niece, once we were in the car, I'm driving. She said, very innocently, she was very young at the time, "Why is this car going so slow?" Yeah. But anyway, stars in stripes forever. Tri-tip or tripe, moonbeams or a tire fire. The past is a brutal heist gone wrong, and shipwrecked soup drowns the bottom feeder. You've taken leave of your senses, but take heart. Deranged muttering interspersed with heart-rending silence leads the hit parade, and the exorbitant price of everything only enhances its value. After all, this is a meritocracy. The fiddle on fire. I was born wearing a shabby shirt, but God, the gorgeous trousers. I wore a battered fedora, too, grateful it wasn't a helmet or crown. But I'm not a reliable witness. I can't spit as far as my shoe. My hunger cracked the crystal sea, but the shards are sirens of nothingness. My left eye can hardly see. Do you prefer a ballpoint pen or a gorgeous feather dipped in ink and blood? I had to ask. I want you to be happy. Nature lover. Who doesn't love the myth of nature? Its golden hues and caressing skies, its eerie precision and wild caprice, its indigo flotsam and scarlet jetsam, its majestic rivers, rutabagas, and kittens, to say nothing of black holes replete with nothingness. Why, I love even the snakes that poison us, strangle us, and lead us astray, the red-eyed rats that devour our infants as we sleep, the green sunshine like a tropical holocaust, the blue azaleas like fistfuls of sand, the snow blindness and thirst as we root in the mulch of our delusions. Ah, nature. What better than trudging through the thistles collecting a bouquet of crutches and cell phones? Or stumbling through the weeds with the verse of nature poets tripping off our tongues. Once, combing the beach for shrunken heads, I even found an extinguished star whose light has yet to reach the earth. So, someone accused me of not liking nature, but of course I like nature. Come on. Hello. And the angels smell like cigarettes. Numbers have hard exteriors. They converse with death in mocking tones, but there's no hurry. Inertia is a blinding light that illumines everything. It's rush hour everywhere, unfastened kimonos, pitiless Aztec poetry, magpies, minstrels, marlins, science threatening to explain everything. Oh, we sang at the top of our lungs from the tip of rusted girders a song for Che, and cobbled together stout hearts immune to time and suffering. But the North Star is a feisty brunette who chews the ice of dark matter, and whose floor will we sleep on if we give up our vengeful gods. And here's a spring poem, which is appropriate because we are in the early throes of spring, entitled In Spring the Springing. In spring the springing clings to the rooting things subsoil, and blue takes wing on singing wind, and I take you, and you take me 9 miles. The rough wood rings with dreaming things. The ladders run up and down. The golden suns of springtime spin in a black box underground. I get what I want, but what I want is wanting. A few more here. For I have sinned. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned and sung. I've written many ill-advised, poorly executed poems. I've combined insincerity, hubris, and aesthetic depravity with overindulgence in adult beverages and absurd show-offy hats. I've made light of the blind squirrels pursuing an acorn and the humble seeking God. I've smirked while cantering on a stallion that was really a broom. When the ghost of good grammar past threatened me with a stick, I pretended to be simple and then slick. May Lorca's hurricane of black doves forgive and forget me. Sloth is like sleep or youth. A thick sap, a flame in our veins like a lazy dog in heat as the whole chingadera burns down. Me, I wake up each morning like a stone dropping from heaven. I don't know my ass from an onion. Whenever I see a woman reading Beckett in public, I pretend to be a blind man with perfect pitch and write my name with a twig in the sand. Here's one, Barbara Handler, who I'm delighted to say is here tonight. At one point we were talking about insomnia and aging and various things, and I always thought this is entitled Kudos to Father Time. Not to be too clinical, but the acuity of the brain declines with age. Not that any of us here would know that, but the dog spots verge on illegible. Moonlight is ambivalent. Trees and tires lose their tread as rogue thoughts flee the jurisdiction of the mind. Exercise, nutrition, word games, no matter. The clock keeps sporadic time, and sleepless nights are measured in centuries. This is a poem for Compañero Francisco Alarcón, 1954 to 2016. He was a figure in the mission as a scholar, poet, very into Mesoamerican culture, and a very generous and special person who left us all too soon. We know neither the day nor the hour of the timbalero's solo, or when the moon will rise like a scorpion to ignite our hair. So we a couple more. I also want to. There's an epigraph to this chapbook from Mumia Abu Jamal, and it's so terse and so interesting. It's who rolls the dice, who grows the rice. Wine and coffee. Fear of self-immolation keeps me in stride. Strangers read my thoughts anyway, my firewall of muttering. I'm an involuntary success in business. I don't pay what worth is worth. I get spiders to weave for free and sucker punch the bees. My mother, on the other hand, worked as a fisherman, an Arctic explorer, a relief pitcher, a Russian novelist, a roller derby queen, a blind mariachi, a talk show host, a terrorist, a psychotherapist, and a cowboy. She was ambivalent about snakes and golf, but drank plenty of wine and coffee. Now, conclude with this, entitled Stitching Time. Get enough sleep. Get too much. Death is dapper, a well-groomed purple cloud. Take a little nap as you climb the ladder. Tip the seamstress who sews your shroud. Yeah. Great, thank you so much. So, any poet who would like to read in the open part of the evening, let Jerry know. Just make sure you're signed up. So we'll take a little, maybe 10 minutes now, and then have the open portion of the evening.
Yeah, Michael Koch. Yeah. Francisco Orrego. So this is, validates all our faith in poetry and culture and humanity, all in one little 35-minute burst. Isn't that great? So we are able to give a tiny honorarium to the featured poets in this series, which has been going on since time immemorial, since time immemorial, when Jerry Ferez showed up on the scene. So you could augment this if you want to throw stuff in that modest little bucket there. It's a little beat up and, it's gotten good use. So thank you for being here. And yeah, that one over there, you'll see me feed it. And the open will start in a little while, so don't go away. All right. Thank you.
So, okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, we're gonna have our open mic section here, and I don't know how. Can you see how many readers we have there? Okay, so we have about 6 or so readers, 7 readers, and I'm going to do something to start off this thing. So, you know, what I people always ask me, like how long do I have to read and so, and I was just say, like you're come to read what you came to read. That's what you want to do. So just don't go on too long, so you'll know about that. So okay, so I'm gonna start off here. Let me get my guitar. So I'm gonna recite a poem and sing a song, and the poem is I'm gonna is because it's spring. Spring has sprung. So this a poem I wrote called "Satori in Spring." I wrote it last year at this time. So and Satori is like a Zen word, right? It means like sudden enlightenment or something like. But it has this quality of abruptness, So anyway, it's called Satori in Spring. If I can remember it. Okay. Sprawled across my bed when pop goes my head. Baby, with a sudden bang so loud, my whole bod shook loose. There, in the deepest sense, in its essence, all was but a bodiless blackness in the round, the very picture of emptiness, where you keep your cake and eat it too, where you make your bed and create your fate, where you break your bread, or so it seems, when you stop the stream of body, speech, and mind, when you drop all your secret hopes and fears, suddenly spring is everywhere, with its wordless wisdom everywhere I turn, a miracle, this light of ordinary life and everyday affairs. And the saving grace of these immaculate blossoms, blooming, opening like poems outside my window upon awakening from this mirror-like dream. So now, because it's spring, I'm going to sing The Cuckoo. This is the oldest American song. Well, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies. But she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Yes, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and I wish she was mine. She don't never drink water, she only drinks wine. Yeah, I'm gonna build me a cabin on the mountain so high, so then I can spy the cuckoo as she warbles on. Yeah, I'm gonna build me a cabin on the mountain so high, so that I can spy the cuckoo as she warbles on. Yes, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, but she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Stand this back up. Let's see. JB Frank.
I'm like Robert Browning. I listened to a very early recording in the 1880s that Robert Browning made. We're going to read one of his poems, how they brought the good news from Aix to Ghent. And he started reciting the poem, and he got past the first sentence, and he goes, I can't read me own poem. I can't remember me own poem. So that's me. That's when that's why I have to have paper. And they used to have these air raid drills. I don't know if you remember the big noise that used to come every Wednesday at noon, and then a voice would say something. I never could figure out what it was saying. So I call this first one Drill 2018 CE. When I first heard the sound, air raid siren for perhaps 15 seconds, followed by a voice like that of Big Brother, heard all around the southeast of the city, and I'm all of a sudden like a helpless civilian. And I imagine Warsaw, Rotterdam, Coventry, Dresden, Hiroshima. Next one is Jerry Cole, Wrath of the Medusa. There's a painting, you may have seen it. Memory piece. It's alive with people floating on the indifferent sea, vast sky. A few white clouds hanging hostile and motionless, unhurried waves offering no hope to parched and starving refugees of an unforgiving kingdom. Relief is coming, though in the form of a barely visible column of smoke on the horizon. One of the wretches has already seen it. Too late for most, perishing in misery. Could we have imagined their ordeal a work of art? And I wrote, thank you. I wrote this one today when I was reminiscing about my childhood. It's called Time for Beanie. Foggy black and white TV, magical puppet creatures, filling my 8-year-old head with fun, travel, and adventure. What rapture to this pampered child of an American empire. Yearning myself to be companion to the seasick sea serpent Cecil, nephew to nervous Captain Huff and Puff, ever victorious little Beanie, my alter ego.
Okay, JB. And next, Raymond.
Okay, this poem is called Deliciosa. It's inspired or triggered by a painting I saw in South America with the levels of hell and the demons that live there who help you along. And one of the demons they had written, they're actually the 7 deadly sins, I figured out later on. But one of them was called Deliciosa. And I thought, that's gluttony. What a wonderful name for gluttony. But it was explained to me later on that Deliciosa was actually lust. And when the two connected, I thought, well, I can't let that go. Lust and Deliciosa. I know something about lust, and so I wrote the poem. Most of my poems are kind of just lived in the moment. I don't write them down. I just kind of live them, and I think poems for me, the magic, the mixture of words are just to be lived out. I don't try, when you go down and try to write them down, they just disappear. But this one wouldn't let me go, so Deliciosa is what came of that experience. And so when you hear Deliciosa, think of lust. Deliciosa. Hush, young one, time to awaken. Winter. Emptiness flows through silence. Notes of no importance seek sense. Heart's fallow fields scope the landscape. Desire enjoys hibernation, ready to rise. Embers flash their glow. Slowly appears Deliciosa. Deliciosa, mi amor, mi santa, acceptame, acceptame. Spring. Desire blossoms, fragrance of passion with longing, wanting, needing, finding connection. Clothes removed, skin's sweet smell, bodies entwined, sensually, feeling each other, kissing slowly, top to bottom, bottom to top. So many different faces, opportunities, experiences. deliciosa, mi amor, mi santa. Summer, in this heat, naked we lie, questions unanswered, bodies silhouetted by portals, brightness, knowing not what to say, each closing that door, wandering separate ways, still lost in emotion. Primo craving seduces, yearning rekindles, deliciosa, mi amor, mi santa. Fall, fallen leaves, obscure path traveled, no regress. Lust cinders dim, ash coats, deliciosa. Sirens sound do quiet, physical abilities decline. Time to return, rest, the end approaches. Deliciosa, mi amor, mi santa, perdóname, perdóname. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Hush, old one. Time to sleep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. And Susan.
So the world's all crazy, and I must be crazy too, because I left my job in IT to do poetry full time. So, so I have, I'm just going to read a few. I've started a YouTube channel. Hopefully, if you like what you hear, come over to my channel. This first poem is the same as the name of my channel. And if you want help finding it, come see me afterwards. From the Sea Foam. The frothing where the waves rise, crashing against the stone, churning and enveloping, generating foam. The seashore where the spirit meets, the rock we call our world, our waves and wind crash upon, thusly our stories told. Only at this meeting place does the foam churn and froth, the jagged rocks of our experience, demanding it from us. The unending horizons of our being, crashing here in waves, the stones make it matter, for here we spend our days. Untitled. Let you walk upon me, wipe your feet, spit right here. I hate how you treat me, but don't speak out of fear. I let it slide and tell myself things aren't that bad, until the day I explode. Now you've made me mad. All the feelings pouring out, coming forth in waves, furious at myself to let this go, oh, so many days. Never again will I retire, sleeping on my hate. Express my feelings right this moment, any other is too late. Grab your hat, take your shoes, get the fuck out of my sight. I will not put up with this, not this day, get out this very night. Untitled. The pin dropping in the distance, how the earth does shake. Consequential moments, jolting you awake. Easy to sleep with the humming, the machinery spinning round. The warmth and comfort suddenly cannot be found. The lights going dark, the switches no longer work. That which came with ease, no longer coming forth. Time to assess repairs, gather tools and roll up sleeves. Examining the damage, is it as bad as it seems? What will it take to get it running so that we can be lulled back to sleep by machinery so humming that we pray to keep? One last one. Untitled. Do not fret, my dear. Your spirit will set you free. Forget all your doubts and fears and walk along with me. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Remember you create your world. Its meaning is not inscrutable. It is your spirit's will unfurled. Quiet now your waking mind. Listen. Quiet now your waking mind. Listen to the whispers of your soul. Gentle corrections given overnight that keep you whole. Let its music carry you and flow to your own rhythms. Ignore the others beating drums. You are not forced to listen. Nothing can touch you here. Know a safety beyond measure. Complete the task you came here for, and know life's deepest pleasures. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. And next, Scooter.
A poem for spring. It's called Baseball Poem. Sweet Mookie leaps, glove above the wall, conjuring a sure out of a home run. Who says baseball is no fun anymore? This is 21st century baseball. Lithe ball players, tatted, bearded, long hair, and gold chains. Sabermetric baseball, showboating baseball. Bat flip, spin rate, launch angle baseball. Dugout dances, hip-hop, tick-tock baseball. Hard-throwing starters and even harder-throwing relievers. Ball 4, strike 3, and the big fly. The ghosts know, not to forget Mickey, Willie, and the Duke, Murderers Row, the Gas House Gang. However, that is baseball for another time. 2021 baseball has developed equations designed to reveal the number of stars. Still, baseball is reluctant to give up its mysteries. Possibilities always exist. The other shoe does not always drop. A summer night. Baseball on the radio. John Miller illuminates the moonless night with the flight of the ball. Baseball, an existential question, a sequence of events. Does it matter if a taco is a sandwich or does a hot dog is a taco? Here's something else that does not give up its secrets easily. The drum does not give up its secrets easily. Consider silence, the drum silence, the space between time. Consider time and the silence of the drum waiting for the silence and the song. Silence is a color, the color of silence, one of many secrets. Consider the drum pulsing between the silence, shadowing time and color, synchronized. The drums dream with your hands. The silence of your hands, the color, your dreams, the drums, translating silence, making feet move, will take you home. And one more. What if water is a part of speech? What if sometimes movement is standing still? Let me start over, sorry. What if water is a part of speech? What if sometimes movement is standing still? What are the miles for? If speech is part water, what are the other parts? Fire, earth, wind? Seems too simple. Dusk, flowers into darkness, darkness into morning. Morning brings mist. Not quite speech, a murmur, a reminder, a dispatch. If only I could remember the secret. If only I could remember the secret, something to hold on to, the theory of flowers and faith. A kiss is a flower to eat. Planets revolving, the sky, lighter now, in the distance the sound of drums, a supplication, psychic migration, altitude. Thank you.
Okay, Scooter. Thank you. And Mark Cormier.
All right, let's see. This is America. Prelude. The flowers that bleed. She locks the classroom door. Standard procedure. The assignment, spring flowers. Her students have all just written their names in the upper right-hand corner. Leave your drawings on your desks. The gunman rattles the door. The kids and their teacher huddle together in a far corner for comfort. In retrospect, they should have dispersed. They had all forgotten the lesson, no easy targets. The flowers that bloom from these metal-jacketed thorns. The names that never made it back to their desks. The flowers that bleed. The names that never made it back to their desks. Part 1. We now work with ghosts. We the people are equal only when we have money. A man is equal when he's a man, when his skin is the right color, when he's fighting for the right. This is America. Your right to be wrong. Your right to rampage when you get angry. Your right to a fun gun. You recline upon the divan. Your parakeet your toy. The birds on the floor scramble for crumbs. We the people are the birds on the floor. You raise up your hands as if to summon a storm. We then walk with ghosts. We pace, we gaze out our brains on the telephone screen. We warm our hands over the glow of the pixels. They do not burn bright enough to shake the cold from our bones. Before a table laden with eggs, we stitch wings onto our words. We cuddle with knobs the reception spotty, the statue we sculpt from x-rays. The strain of the mingle lifts when the puppeteers switch out the lights. The magician in first class sits next to an odd bird wearing a beret. It is the season of the final argument. The mercy band throttled. The dress code is strict. No clothes at all. Our morals sit on our skins. I'll read one more part. Part 2. Between us, one fish, no flesh. A chessboard without boundaries, the king hides in infinity. The smokestack on the rowboat signals defeat. Our hull grazes the feet of the Statue of Liberty, our moral compass intact, but we feign misdirection. The enemy's camouflage is that of indifference. Between us, one fish, no flesh. You offered the scales, I pluck out the bones whole. The cat leaves a wet string limp on the floor. I dangle the fish spine as if it were a mesmerizing watch. The spire sprouts a flower. You hold your plate like a baby. Death asks life if she wants to dance. Maybe later. Maybe when my tutu combusts. In front of the veil, we nibble on popcorn. The wind blows both birds and leaves past our ears. Fingers crossed, we hope that our feet are to be trusted. It is the peak season for fun. All the corn you can eat, plenty of butter, plenty of salt. Shorn cobs roll like logs.
Okay, and E.K. Keith.
Hi, everybody. Well, happy to see y'all. And before I read my poem, I'd like to thank Eric for creating this space for personal expression, which ties into the announcement I'm going to make, because the 20th annual Poems Under the Dome is coming up on Friday, April the 11th, and Beckett has been supporting the event for 20 years, and that's in the form of moral support as well as for many years in the form of dollar support, and that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of ways to make things happen, so thank you, Eric. If you'd like to participate on Friday, April the 11th, show up to City Hall, and then you're going to find your way to the North Light Court. Once you get there, put your name in the green velvet top hat, and we pull names out of the hat over the course of the evening. If your name gets pulled, please prepare to read one poem, 3 minutes or less. And remember, The shorter your poem, the more people get to participate. It is a free public event, so I hope to see y'all there. 5:30 to 8 p.m. Friday, April 11th. All right. So here's a poem for y'all. Earth is cosmically number 3. Our Garden of Eden from which we've never been expelled. 'Cause paradise is a state of mind, and our only sin is how we treat each other when that hurts. We've been counting years, but time makes myth of both history and science. So I try to think clearly about what it means to be home. I belong here on Earth, where the breathing is easy, can be easy, where revolution is just something our planet does. The dirt under my nails is stardust. Thank you for listening. I hope to see y'all at City Hall Friday, April the 11th at 5:30. Come on out.
Thank you. And lots of all, our house mythologist, philosopher king, Walker Brent.
All right. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. In February, our reading here happened to be on my mother's birthday. In March, our reading here happened to be on my grandmother's birthday. And today, our reading here happens to be on my birthday. So these are the structures that language gives us, of which we make poems, in our own lives, and or in whose ever lives. And so I'll read 3 poems, I think. And so this poem, it's about the invisible man as interviewed by the ghost of a famous pirate. And then that will explain some of the weirdness in the poem, it is called Miraculous Infernal Anatomy. Following your poetry into your own life so that your breath can get used to the out loud side of it. Like being invisible from the face down, but not including the face. So, at your interview, the ghost asks, "What do you have against the world that would merit our favor on a quest for gold?" Saying, "Take this, old Ocracoke. You unwrap the rags that hold the leg and the eye's place, so that from face down no beholding can take place, for you are invisible. Yet over everything shall your face float, even as you call the pirate ghost a slob, for that he is, even though there are no faster things than the cannonballs that he has faced, making up the sound they made against the mast in the fantasy of what he once did fear, when his eyes, not ears, could hear what his ears, not eyes, could see." So it's strange. Strange. The poems, they're just there in the words. So, and I always like to, so this is the second poem from my inner guru, William Blake, whose poems speak inside of me sometimes. And it's a sort of about spring. It might be a little bit about the later part of spring than is our current manifestation of spring. But William Blake has this poem. It goes, "A flower was offered to me, such a flower as May never bore. But I said, I've a pretty oak tree, and I passed the sweet flower over. So I went to my pretty oak tree to tend her by day and by night. But my rose turned away in jealousy, and her thorns were my only delight. So, and that's William Blake, so you can still find, some fun. Okay, and so now, so this poem is a short poem. I was born on the 4th month on the 3rd day. I've read 3 poems tonight, so there's other numerical correspondences. And they are useful as mnemonic devices that you can put into your mind, and then later on some memory will come up which will embody some pattern of something that you once, took in, and then you'll wonder, where did that come from? And I think so many of our real thoughts are like that. But anyway, so this is a poem about early spring, actually. It's about when it rains, when the unsettled coastal weather comes in and the big clouds from off of the Pacific come in, and there's moments of sunlight, and then there's moments of rain. And when I was a child in Texas, in the parking lot of the library, it began to rain, and the sun was shining, and I couldn't understand that. And I said to my mother, "Mother, what's happening?" And she said, "The devil and his wife are having a fight." And so, wow, I just thought, wow. And then actually, and I have to tell you, my wife, her mother one time told her when the sun was shining while it was raining, she asked, when she was a child, to her mother, she asked, "What's going on?" And her mother said, "It's the monkey's birthday." So you see, it's cute, but it's memorable. And then it turns into something else in our poet imaginations. It's a mystery. Anyway, but this poem is called The Monkey's Birthday. The Monkey's Birthday. What could be more local than rain? The heavenly fountain outside bounds, making clouds thick and dark, heavy to lift. But the sky has strength. The sun lights unknown worlds. Planets flash in the splash of rain beside the white chickens and the red wheelbarrow. So, here's to our classical references.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Eric. Please come back, buy books, keep Eric afloat, He pays all the musicians.